So I work for Dynamic Edge Incorporated. We're a managed service provider based in Ann Arbor, and we also have a branch in Nashville, Tennessee. We support clients from all aspects of industry nationwide. We can focus on HIPAA compliant clients. We do clinics, we do hospitals, we do tax-based accountants, we do manufacturing, we do publicly traded companies, we do the whole gambit of industries. We're focusing on credit unions right now. We've been continuing to focus on the security and the increase of the needs for security across all of our industries. It doesn't really matter whether or not you're in healthcare, whether you're in finance, or whether you're in manufacturing. All of them have had a large uptick in the need for security and the advanced security that ThreatLocker provides. I'm a CISSP professional, so I'm constantly on the lookout of how better to protect our clients, looking for all of the different tools for our security stack that allows our clients to meet the compliance and regulation needs to stay one step ahead of the bad guys. So that's part of the reason why we came through the door for ThreatLocker. Is we were looking for something that was endpoint based. It was proactive rather than reactive. It was something that we could put in place to really help protect against the human layer of the attack vectors out there. So this helped us reduce our attack surface quite a bit, just because there's always someone in the back end preventing installations, and using the learning mode of the ThreatLocker software has been fantastic to be able to prevent issues without it causing major issues to the end user experience. The entire fight with ransomware is a cat and mouse game. I am really happy to say that the only time we've ever had any kind of a ransomware event at one of our clients is when they haven't wanted to go with our recommendations. So that's something that is really fantastic. I've spent quite a many years doing remediation on pre-audits and audits and all that kind of thing at our clients. So this has provided us with, as Zero Trust has become more of a standard and/or beyond just a buzzword in the security industry, it's given us better processes to be able to take a client who doesn't have any policies or a new client coming through the door that just was hacked, right? They don't have any idea of what their next step is. And ThreatLocker has provided us a lot of benefits to be able to do pre-scans, getting them into learning mode, getting them into a secured mode, using the ring fencing and the reporting techniques to say, here's your application set, here's what's approved, here's what we're not going to approve automatically, and putting those extra controls in place, which is the key to the prevention. We're always adding and removing things from our tech stack and security stack. I'll definitely say that due to the low level nature of ThreatLocker and where it sits in that OSI model, it allows us to be able to do very granular controls. So that gives us the ability to better know what applications are going to be problematic. In other words, ThreatLocker allows us very easily to know whose software is easy to support, which one is going to take a lot of extra support, and which ones we really need to focus on. We actually resell the client to our clients, right? So we don't blanket our entire client base with ThreatLocker. Some of your partners do that, where they say, here's everybody's going to get it. Everybody gets a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. That's not the way that we do things. We actually have it as a part of our cybersecurity package. So that's the way that we manage that. And it basically makes it so that once you get into that level of security awareness, we bundle ThreatLocker along with our advanced phishing training and our security awareness bundle and a lot of those other products, right? So that's one of the roles that I play, is that I take that security stack and I build our DE product using ThreatLocker as one of those assets in that product. We have a couple of different security agent offerings that we've been using in the past, and the idea of a SIEM has been tossed around quite a bit over the last couple of years. So we've been looking for those kinds of things for a while. There's a certain type of client that ThreatLocker works best for, right? And those are the types of clients that we're really interested in continuing to support and getting new clients for, are those that are security minded. They're what I like to talk to clients about is that this is a paradigm shift from an ask for forgiveness to an ask for permission system, and it really provides us the ability to allow the users through the ThreatLocker request access and policy process to be able to ask for permission, and it not changing the network. Things don't scope bloat very much, right? Like there's always that problem in the past before ThreatLocker where updates, patches, browser extensions is a great one. People just find applications that they need to use, they go use it, and there's no real control around that. And it's always been really difficult. You can write till you're blue in the face a end user acceptance policy, but the controls to be able to enforce it has always been expensive. So that's what's been really beneficial for ThreatLocker, is it's not expensive. It's very valuable for what you get and the ability to control user policy. Far more than a GPO, far more than any of the other application or SIEM software out there. The challenges that we've faced quite a bit before implementing ThreatLocker had to do with how exploits and vulnerabilities propagated across the industry. So now that we've implemented ThreatLocker at quite a few of our clients, any of those clients, when something like the FortiGate vulnerability comes out, or the Felina is another great example, right? A lot of those, because of ThreatLocker support, has provided us something that prevents it at 0 day. So that's one of the most key pieces, is the 0-day protection that we can apply globally very quickly. In other words, new vulnerabilities with new ransomware gangs using new software and support tools that are legit software and support tools in their attacks. And the ThreatLocker global policy system allows us to go in, create a policy for those threat tools that are being used, even though they're legitimate, and to block those right at the global level, right? That allows us to be able to do it once. We can prove that it's there, that it's in place, and it also allows us to be able to alert on those so that if any of those do pop up in the future, we have another layer of alerts and auditing. Biggest benefits of ThreatLocker is its visibility into the client. It gives us the ability to go in using the unified audit and search on a very granular level. Because it is a kernel level access, it gives us the visibility to be able to support on a much more efficient way. We're not black box testing anymore. It gives us the ability to go in and say, that application, when you execute it, runs all these other types of things and accesses all these other folders, files, processes, etc. The key component that really gave me the let's do this and jumping right in with both feet is really that driver level access. it reduced some of the more difficult troubleshooting because we can see what's going on. You get into that unified audit, you grab that, okay, here's the driver file it's referencing, and automatically you have another 10 keywords that if you need to do more research on, you can hit those process level executables, you can search for what's going on from a technical level. The reason why we ended up going with ThreatLocker is because it was the most valuable security tool on the market. We have access to a lot of different security tools. The price per endpoint for us as a partner and the value that provides to our client has the best economic margins. So it allows us to be able to protect our clients from a truly proactive way, unlike any of the other products out there, without a very, very large investment. Our companies align with each other because of our need to protect our clients. It also aligns because our focus is on prevention, not reaction. Our companies align because we're all on the same team here. There isn't a rivalry like competitors have, right? Like there's a very heavy and wonderful partnership to make us look better and vice versa. One of the things that I love the most is being able to use your guys as cyber heroes. Use them all the time. Was on with them earlier today. The response time is almost immediate. You're on chat with them right away. I have a cyber hero always check my work to make sure that my policies are not too wide open, whether my policies are, if I don't understand exactly how something's going to trickle or how a configuration is going to scale, right? The cyber hero really helps make sure that we get the right policies in place, are restricted enough, but not are overly restrictive for our clients. And the fact that you can make it more invisible to that end user and still protect them is gold. We have quotas, right? We have a certain number of endpoints per technician that we have to be able to cover for us to be able to make our bottom lines. And ThreatLocker helps us meet those bottom lines. Reduction of time per ticket has been less since we brought on ThreatLocker with those clients. Those clients are not entering as many tickets into the system once they're active and live and locked down. If the tickets do come through, oftentimes they're either, I need to install this, which is an easy 2-minute fix, unlock it, they go do their thing, we lock it back down, everything's fine. Or it just blocks things that it should be, right? A ticket comes in that says, I think my email got hacked because they allowed someone through their MFA, they clicked on a link or something else like that. We can very easily say, no, you don't have to worry about it because ThreatLocker's in place. So it's that human factor that it definitely helps with in meeting our objectives. I use the cyber hero in 3 ways. The universities, so that we can make sure that us and our techs know more on how to build good policies, how the software works, how we can leverage that to be more efficient. From a day-to-day standpoint, using the cyber heroes to be able to check your work and to be able to interact with them on a software day-to-day basis is extremely efficient, and it helps understanding across the board. And then one of the best parts about the cyber hero program in general is the cyber hero requests, which you can set up when you first do a deployment. And the reason why that's so important is because it allows you to leverage the cyber hero during the learning mode to build your custom policies for software that you've never seen before. So it allows us to be able to make the deployments themselves within that first 30 days really smooth. So one of the ways that our process works when we do a deployment is that we will deploy ThreatLocker to a client, and we will run them in learning mode for 30 days. That's our standard policy. At the end of that 30 days is when we come back with reports and say, here's your list, let's go ahead and go through this, right? The nice thing about that is that it makes it so that it's really flexible for the client, and it's really not painful at all, because by the time we get to that, we'll have review of 3 different people, right? Us, who do the deployment, the client, and the cyber heroes. And then the reporting themselves, once you get those back and you get those approved, you don't really have things start popping up. It just works out the door. So that's one of those key pieces that cyber hero request during deployment is so worth it. ThreatLocker has helped us with business efficiency because it takes a lot of the loose ends out of the support day-to-day work. If one of our clients has ThreatLocker, we don't really expect new tickets to come through for them. The biggest paradigm shift for a client is asking that permission. I'm going to be doing support installs over the weekend, or I need to go update this application on 13 machines, right? That type of a thing makes our lives so much more efficient with ThreatLocker because we already know what's going on at the client. It forces that callback from the client and that communication to us, so we know what's going on and what's changing in the environment. It's just a fantastic way to increase efficiency because everybody involved knows what's going on. So you don't waste that time trying to figure out what's going on. You already know. By running ThreatLocker, you're automatically mitigating potential attacks. Just by running it in the nature of ThreatLocker being a deny all zero trust platform means it's going to be blocking far more than you'll ever know, right? That's the nature of the world we live in security. Because it's such a noisy environment, industry in general, there's always going to be that noise or frustration because it's constantly reactionary, right? So ThreatLocker, by running ThreatLocker, it turns it from that reactionary standpoint into more of a strategic planning standpoint, which definitely helps with a lot of that efficiency of time. ThreatLocker allows us to say yes on a lot of the cyber insurance questionnaires that have been hidden. Whether you're in finance or whether you're in manufacturing, everyone is starting to move towards new risk appetite when it comes to cyber insurance. The cyber insurance companies are coming after people saying, we want to see your policies. You have vendors coming to people. Our clients are going to their vendors asking about cyber insurance and cyber policies and security policies. ThreatLocker answers a lot of those questions. Application controls, default denies, filters, etc. So that's definitely helped us close business because we have a solution for any of those checkboxes. We have seen an increase in productivity with ThreatLocker because we're not picking up after our clients. It's strategic. They come through the door, they say, we need to change this. We can control that change. It doesn't just happen and then we have to go follow up and figure out what's going on. So that recon time is far better with ThreatLocker because of the unified audit. Budgets are always going to be the biggest challenge because it's not an easy thing to dial in what a client's risk appetite is. Something that works for one client is not going to work for the other. Of course, you have the overall compliance requirements and you have compliance standards. But just as we know, anybody who's been in the industry for a significant amount of time knows that every single customer is a little bit different. And ThreatLocker allows us to be able to provide a standard policy set to a lot of those clients. And it's reportable from a policy standpoint as evidence. The more clients we have, the more we have the ability to help affect that learning engine. The more we can get ThreatLocker on our endpoints, the better the learning engine, machine learning, and the better the community is in protecting against threats. Continue to develop the features that you guys continue to add. The ability to lock down, I'll give a kind of a little bit of a user story. We have a client who is at a credit union. The vice president and one of their IT internal specialists does a lot of the line of business application financial software updates. The ability to have them invited to the ThreatLocker product, but restrict them so they can only freeze and unfreeze a computer, has been gold. Because it makes it so that when they do a weekend deployment, they're not tripped up by ThreatLocker being in place. And it gives them the ability to go do what they need to do, lock it back down afterwards, and everything keeps flowing.